Gospel according to the Gospel of Luke. As an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus, "Teacher," he said, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" He said to him, "What is written in the law? What do you read there?" He answered, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." And he said to him, "You have given the right answer. Do this, and you will live." But wanting to vindicate himself, he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell into the hands of robbers, who stripped him, beat him, and took off, leaving him half dead. Now by chance, a priest was going down that road, and when he saw him, he passed on the other side. So likewise, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, while traveling, came upon him, and when he saw him, he was moved with compassion. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, treating them with oil and wine. Then he put him on his own animal, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii, gave them to the innkeeper, and said, "Take care of him, and when I come back, I will repay you whatever more you spend." Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers?" He said, "The one who showed him mercy." Jesus said to him, "Go and do likewise." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you.
Siblings in Christ, good morning. Welcome. Thank you all for coming today. My name is Allison Klein. I am the Director of Teen and Young Adult Ministry here at Ezekiel Lutheran Church. A few weeks ago, myself, Vicki Olson, who just read, and Heath Tilley drove 12 teenagers down to St. Louis for a week of service and learning. And throughout our week, you'll hear some reflections from some of the young people in just a moment. We visited various service sites, local nonprofits that were serving the St. Louis area. We visited several farms where we learned about organic practices. We visited several food banks and food pantries where we packed a ton of potatoes, like thousands of pounds of potatoes. It was a lot. We went to different food or clothing distribution sites as well and helped sorted through stylish or different types of clothing. And our favorite site, I think, at least for a lot of us, was we helped clean an apartment complex that served women and children experiencing domestic violence. And all of the young people wrote reflections. You'll hear some of them this morning, but there are some packets laying around in places out in the fellowship hall. I think some of you have them. I just encourage you to read their reflections. They took a long time on these, and they'll also be available on the website if you're trying to save the trees. But I want to highlight how incredible these young people are and the work that they did. Pastor Steve always says that youth are not the future of the church, they are the present, and these young people completely exemplify that. Their hard work, despite hot living conditions and being outside and sweating and being in gross places sometimes, they worked very hard, and they were so excited to serve the neighbors that they were meeting and serving God through those actions. So I'll invite some of them up right now, and they will be sharing some reflections from the week. Thank you.
My name is Elliot Bell, and I'm going to be a senior in high school this fall. I'm really grateful for the chance to share a little bit about our recent trip to St. Louis. It was an incredible week filled with service, learning, and lots of meaningful moments. The St. Louis trip was such an amazing experience, and I'm so grateful I got to be a part of it. I learned so much and met so many people throughout the week. One thing that really stood out to me was how we weren't limited to just one type of service. We got to be involved in so many different projects, from helping the unhoused community and working at food banks to volunteering on urban farms and spending time with kids. Every day felt meaningful and full of purpose. What impacted me the most was seeing God in all the different people we met and served. Each experience showed me a new side of what it means to live out our faith. I also really appreciated getting to know the people we traveled with on a deeper level. Whether it was during work, prayer, or free time, I learned so much about their stories. It reminded me that community and connection are such an important parts of our faith journey. And I'm so thankful for the new friendships and stronger bonds that came out of this trip. Being on this trip really opened my eyes to how much God is at work in the world, often in places we don't expect. I came home feeling inspired, humbled, and more connected to both my faith and the people around me. I'm so thankful I got to be a part of it, and I hope to keep saying yes to opportunities like this, where I can grow and serve and continue to see God in new ways.
Hi, my name is Cora Olson. I'm going to be a senior this coming year, and this is my 5th trip with Ezekiel. During my time in St. Louis, I didn't just learn more about myself, I discovered the true meaning and power of service. It may sound cliche, but it's true. A little really does go a long way. Without our phones, and with plenty of quiet moments built into each day, I had time to think and reflect. Sure, after long hours of work, I often wanted nothing more than to collapse into bed. But the feeling of accomplishing more than you thought is possible is something special. It's like tasting fresh ice cream on a scorching summer day, or plunging into a wave pool at a water park. Pure, refreshing joy. I never imagined I'd enjoy farming, but I found a strange satisfaction in plucking garlic from the soil. And while planting sweet potatoes under the burning sun, I looked around and noticed something that stuck with me. I was sweating through my shirt, yet the farm workers around me were wearing long sleeves and pants. At first, I thought that was odd. Then I saw it, their focus, their energy, and their love for what they were doing. It wasn't just work to them, it was something deeper. There was beauty in that dedication, and it struck me how rare it is to find people who truly love their work. These people were powerful. I saw God in them, shining through like sunlight passing through stained glass. But it wasn't just on the farm. I saw God in every community we visited, in the joy of the kids and caregivers at LifeWise, in the quiet strength of the unhoused, in the compassion at the women and children's shelter, and even in the kindness of the McDonald's workers who gave us milkshakes when the ice cream machine broke. Mine was strawberry. So thank you, St. Louis, for opening my eyes to the hardworking, resilient people all around me, for reminding me that the small acts of service can make a big impact, and for showing me that even an 8-hour drive can lead to a lifetime of perspective.
Hello, my name is Miranda McCligan Maccabee, and I'm an incoming 12th grader at the Renaissance Charter Academy in River Falls. And my Ezekiel youth trip was a meaningful and eye-opening experience. It was my first trip with the church, and it was fun getting to serve alongside a bunch of peers my age. My favorite service project was Operation Food Search because I got to use my organization skills to sort and pack boxes for families in need. It was also really nice to be inside while serving, and it helped open my eyes to how many people don't have access to simple things like air conditioning. That made me even more thankful for the comforts I often take for granted. It was often rewarding to see how even small tasks could have a big impact on the community, and that made the work feel a lot more meaningful. This trip helped me grow in faith, compassion, and awareness, and I'm excited for more opportunities to serve.
Hello, my name is Jade Alon, and this was my second trip with Ezekiel. The service trip to St. Louis was an enlightening, eye-opening, and heart-wrenching trip. Throughout the week, we helped out farms, food banks, and social service organizations. Through serving alongside them, I felt the overwhelming urge to give back to my own community, especially with one organization, Likewise, a social service organization, and much more. I felt the calling to work and help in any way that I could. At Likewise, they had programs to help people get out of financial debt, childcare programs to help empower young kids in their education while teaching them to love who they are, and programs to help teens and adults better themselves and learning new healthy habits. Seeing how much one organization could do brought tears to my eyes and a smile to my face. Something about me is that I'm an upcoming senior and I have no idea what I want to do for the future. Although people say there's still time for me to decide and I shouldn't panic, I'm still worried about the unknown. Throughout this beautiful and hot trip to St. Louis, I felt one step closer to becoming more confident in my future, and for that, I'll always be grateful.
Good morning. My name is Madeline Tilley. I'm an incoming sophomore at RFHS, and I'm in front of you today to talk about my journey in St. Louis from just a few weeks ago. In today's society, we so rarely look to our communities due to not only the labels, but stereotypes given to us. Especially as a teenager, I think we see and are exposed to that a lot more than we expect or are led to believe. Matter of fact, as a teenager, getting the opportunity to be present on this trip as a whole was a gift within itself. Well, in St. Louis, we got the fortunate opportunity to work alongside some phenomenal groups and organizations. Weeding at urban farms, sorting and packing food at food banks, and setting up and cleaning units at a women's shelter called Lydia's House. These experiences truly opened my eyes to not only the possibilities, but change we can make within our communities today. I feel I not only grew closer to the people and friends around me on this trip, but in my faith as well. I might not have a so-called faith story that stands out from the rest, but I think this is a definite step forward onto the path God has been leading me to follow all this time, using my hands to do his work and embrace every single second of the journeys and destinations to come in the future. In God's name I pray and thank each and every one of you who made this trip possible, giving me an experience I'll never forget. I want to leave you today with one small but impactful thought. What can you do to make a difference?